Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode of Cold Game. I'm your host, Isaiah Dotson, and I'm beyond excited to introduce a truly remarkable individual, somebody I came out the sandbox with, somebody who's going on this journey we call life and winning. My cousin, Malcom Bunnell. Malcom's journey is nothing short of inspiring. As a two-time state champion as a player, a two-time state champion coach for Warren Central High School, his dedication to excellence is evident. Beyond the field, he's a visionary, founder of Dog School, a platform dedicated to enhancing the skills and knowledge of both players and coaches. His entrepreneurial spirit has been evident since his youth, leading him to various successful ventures. But Malcom's talents don't stop there. He's a devoted father, a passionate fan of the Colts and the Pacers, a gifted lyricist with a keen ear for talent. As an ambassador of Naptown and the East Side legend, his larger-than-life personality continues to leave a lasting impact on our community. So sit back and join us as we celebrate the dynamic journey of Malcom Bunnell. Come on, y'all. Give it up for him. What it do?
Man, can we run that back, cuz? Can we run that back one more time? You know what I'm saying?
It gets serious, right?
It's so serious. I love it.
All right, well, we're going to get straight into it. Cuz, talk to me about your earliest memories growing up in NAP.
Man, growing up in the NAP. I'm from the east side of Indianapolis. If anybody doesn't know what that is, man, it's it's the ghetto. We're gonna call it what it is, and but we got a heavy lineage out here, man, in Indianapolis. So, growing up here is probably the same story as a lot of other young black kids. Man, we played sports, we fought, we played basketball for sure. If you was growing up, definitely in the '90s in Indianapolis, you was hooping. You know what I'm saying? But, as a kid, I was exposed to all sports, man. Shoot, my pops, man, had me playing golf, tennis, football, basketball, you name it, I played it, boxing, kickboxing. So, yeah, just a lot of sports, man, and a lot of just, good times, man.
For sure. So, cuz, when was the first time you remember putting on them shoulder pads?
Man, I put it on shoulder pads young, man. And the thing about me, man, I always played up, man. So, probably 6 years old. My earliest memories was playing with my cousin. He was always a couple grades ahead of me, but because of my size, they always put me up a couple grades. So I was a kindergartner playing with the second, third graders, holding my own, and that was my first experience winning a championship at the Dad's Club in Indianapolis. Shout out to them. That was our first championship. We played for the Eagles. Shout out to the Eagles,
Shout out to the Eagles. We was killing. What about the Buccaneers? That's what I remember you, cuz I remember going to them practices at, was it Stony Brook?
Stony Brook, yeah. Stony Brook, the elementary school sit right on the campus of Stony Brook. The elementary school sit right on front. So we was all in one. We was right there.
I remember, cuz, having out with the big old shoulder pads, them baggy pants. With
you pads, man, knee pads on my shins.
Wearing a size 14.
Size 14. You know it. Second, third grade, fourth grade.
Coming out ready to dump something.
Come on. That's all I know. I never understood X's and O's, man, but I always knew how to hit something. That was what I laid my hat on.
Mama's coming out on the field like, my son ain't going out there against him.
I got that so much. I was in the gym the other night, man. Some dude, man, randomly walked down on me, man. He had some trauma from our youth league football days. He like, man, you big mouth? Like, yeah. He said, man, I remember you did me so bad in the third grade. I'm like, oh, my goodness. Not the third grade.
Made him never want to play again, huh?
Never. That's what he said. He said he never played football no more after that. He was like,
that's crazy. Cool. Well, shit, cuz I remember you played on an all-time team in the state of Indiana your freshman year at Warren Central High School. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about going undefeated and winning state that year.
And that was experience into football really was, man, because like you said, man, I was always a bigger kid, man, so I relied on my size and, kind of my attitude, youth league all the way through middle school. So talking about high school, man, the funny thing is I wasn't even supposed to, I was going to go to Warren, man, but I was really leaning heavy to going towards Cecina. You know what I'm saying? Just because my big cousin was there. You know, he was the reason I liked football, basketball, sports. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to play with my cousin. So, but I ended up at Warren, man. And a funny story, man, the head football coach at Carmel right now, a dude named Kevin Wright, he was the head coach at the time, you know, coming into my freshman year. And he seen me sitting front row at the Warren basketball game. Well, you know, I was in the 8th grade, about to be a freshman. And I was watching Greg Oden and Mike Conley versus Warren. That's the game I was at. Coach Wright, he came up and pulled down on me right at that game. I don't even know if he remembers this, man, but you know, he said, man, where you going to high school at? I said, shoot, Cecina. He said, you coming to Warren, man? Yeah, you know, you coming to Warren? He said, shoot. I said, I'm going to Warren. And then from there on, you know, I get there on the summer practice. And then my dad was real big on work, man. He never let me slack on anything I do still to this day. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, right before I was going to middle school at Stony Brook, but 6 o'clock in the morning, I was getting dropped off at Warren Central to work out with the team, you know. So I was doing, you know, high school workouts coming before I got into high school, you know, and that was really unheard of back in. This is 2006. But then fast forward to that summertime, I was walking out to practice one day. Shout out to Coach Tussey, Steve Tussey. He's a football coach at Marion University here in Indianapolis now. But back then, he was our head coach. You know, once Coach Wright had ended up leaving, Coach Tussey took over. And I don't think I remember first day of practice, freshman year, summertime. I wasn't even a freshman yet. He looked at me and said, big guy, where you going? So I'm headed out to this grass field, you know what I'm saying, with the freshmen. He says, yeah, psych, you get your ass over here.
That's how coaches be talking too.
Man, that was all she wrote, man. That was all she wrote from that time on, man. It was 2006. Warren Central I was exposed to the greatest football team in the history of the nation. I'll put the 2006 Warren Central Warriors against any team ever assembled ever. That's how good we was.
I was running through everything that year, unstoppable force. It was amazing to see.
Yeah, and they you know, and I got some burn too. Don't just think this because I was a little freshman. I was coming in third, fourth quarter, man. But you know, I played on them teams. I don't want nobody to think it wasn't, you know, third, fourth quarter reps, you know what I'm saying? But I was still getting out there.
It was amazing to see because y'all running back, Darren Evans, we was winning championships playing for the Mini Bears. And Warren Township. So I was extra hyped to see my cousin. You feel me? The homie Darren Evans getting his shine on. Yeah, I had some other great players on that team too.
Oh yeah, phenomenal players, man. Phenomenal players. You know, one of the, you know, if you live out east, man, and went to Warren, man, the name that come up when you think of Warren is Finch, man. And you know, he was a great player too. Started as a freshman down in Florida. This is Tim Tebow, Florida. You know what I'm saying? This is, you know, Brandon Spikes, Florida. This was Florida when, you know, Cam Newton was down there. So for him, you know, he was out there, you know, plenty of extreme, you know, didn't even play at the next level, but yeah, we were surrounded by dogs. And Joel Hampton, one of our running backs, he was only a junior, but he played in the Super Bowl with the 49ers, you know what I'm saying? So we had some real talent out there.
Crazy. So that was your freshman year. So you go to your sophomore year, your junior year, all coming into your senior year. You win another state title. Tell me about that experience, cuz started with one and ended your career off with a state title.
Man, it was bittersweet, man. I you know, like me personally, I got you know, football was always my thing, man, and that was always something I felt like, you know, I didn't have to work as hard at, but I paid for that coming into my senior year. You know, I came in a little out of shape. You know, I was playing multiple positions. You know, I was playing offensive line and defensive line. You know, so it was a shock for me. So I mean, I had a great senior year. You know, I contributed what I could. I contributed a lot in my opinion, but to close it out, it was my guys though. Shakir Bell, top 5 running back in the history of the state of Indiana, in my opinion. I mean, we can debate that. We can debate that any day. You know, it was so many dudes on that team. My senior year, James Manuel played DB the University of Minnesota, Chris Harley. We had our juniors, cuz that now, we was heavy. I think we had like 50 plus seniors my senior year on that squad, but we had some juniors too out there, man. We had right tackle Kiro Holtz, started at the University of North Carolina. D tackle Chris Harley, he played at Virginia Tech. Our sophomore Sheldon Day played D tackle. He's still in the NFL to this day. And then we can get into the freshmen. Even the freshmen back then, Anthony Winbush played for the Colts. So we was talent heavy my senior year. We had a couple mix-ups, games we should have won. Cathedral. I talked to my guy Tevin Studdard a couple years ago. He's a Cathedral, Irish, diehard, and they hang their hat on that win that they got against us our senior year. Kofi Hughes went down to IU, started quarterback for them. One of the best I've ever went against. Kofi Hughes. I'll say Morgan Newton is probably the best player I've ever played against. If you know about Morgan Newton from Indiana, but that was my junior year. And then we ended up losing to Carmel that year too, which is ironic because we ended up turning around and beating them in state. So
let me ask you this: did you have any offers coming out of high school, and where did you decide to attend?
My offers, man. My recruiting process was it was real strange, man. I came out in a weird time. I felt like if I was just a year or two later, then I would have been, big time, whatever school. But I had a lot of, man, back then, man, we was big on before this is, before social media. I think Twitter was just now coming out back then. So we had Facebook, but it wasn't no huddle. I was the first guy putting my tape on YouTube, you know what I'm saying, just to try to get looks. But I got some looks, but all my looks was off of, me sending out my film and reaching out to schools. And I had some JUCO looks just because I didn't have the grades. My GPA wasn't where it needed to be. But that's something I always want to make light of, man. Just think about this, cuz back in 2009, I would get an F in a class for 69%. You know what I'm saying? A 69% was an F. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting 80%, 85, 87% in class and getting C's and D's with 80%. So I'm like, come on. But they end up switching that up the next year. So when it comes to transcripts and, PSATs and all that stuff, man, it was a little different. But I definitely had I had my letters, man. I had a tote full of letters, Michigan State, IU, Columbia, Harvard. It was all type of schools. But now, as far as offers, just JUCO, junior college offers.
Shout out to Joliet. That ain't nothing to sneeze at. They got some grades come out of there, Kelvin.
Yeah. Shout out to Joliet, man. I didn't have the greatest experiences at Joliet though. So I shout out to them. I don't even think they got a football program no more, man. So okay. I just remember my experience with Joliet. Once I got down there and had my experience, I called my coach and said, "Hey, do not send out one more motherfucker down here. Not man. One. They don't get no more warm players after they did me like this."
I remember going on a visit to Joliet. I walked in there. All I see was brick walls. I said, this can't be it.
Right. Nah, it wasn't it. And you got to think, man, back then, I'm coming from Warren, man. We had the top of the line facilities. You know what I'm saying? Just nice football, turf field, weight room, just top of the line. I get down there, man. I'm like, what is this? Like, the weight room in the garage and the shed in the back of the field, I had to walk a mile to get there. Saying no facilities at all, I'm like, man, I'd rather go play another year in high school than be out here, but it was what it was. It was my bad. I had to.
So what made you decide to get into coaching?
Man, after I, had that experience at Joliet, I was really just in a period of, do I want to just keep on continuing to do this football thing, man? And just to go back, I had a little bit of letdown right in that time in my life, that 18, 19-year-old, man, I didn't really get the playing time I wanted to. As a senior, really in the playoff times, and then even going into college, getting into Joliet, it wasn't, and you got to think, you're talking to somebody who started playing football when they was 5 years old, 6 years old, kindergarten. And I never took a season off all the way up until my freshman year in college. So at that point, I had got home and I was going through some things, here at the crib, and I just decided to start working. And then I had my homie, shout out to Steve, my homie Steve McClain. He said, man, come in here, come back home, man, and, get in this coaching, man. At the time, I was working at Maxine's Chicken and Waffles, the best soul food restaurant that ever hit Indianapolis, man. We might have to talk about getting that back up and running. But I was working at Maxine's, and then he said, man, come get into this coaching, man. So ever since then, I just kind of, that's where I got my start at.
Because you coached some great players over there during your time. Tell me about some of the players that you coached that's currently in the field.
Currently on the roster, I can think of, first off, want to come off the top is Julius Brents. You know what I'm saying? Julius Brents, that's my dog. I still try to stay in contact with him to this day, but he's a second round pick for their coach right after they picked up AR. They came back next round and got Juju. That really warmed my heart. And then
so did you start? Did he play on your? He played on not only the varsity, but he was on your freshman team as well, right?
Yep, on my freshman team. So I kind of came in with Juju. He might have been the first or the second team because as they elevated, I elevated. I felt like I started off as a freshman coach, and he was one of my groups. And then as he went to JV, I went to JV. And one thing I hang my hat on is when I was coaching in JV years, I would always be the guy who would come back with, "Hey, he needs to be on varsity like today." And Juju was one of them guys, man. Like I used to always say, man, hey, man, he's not a Saturday morning player, man. This dude's a Friday night player, and come to find out he's a Sunday player. So, but Juju, and then of course the best athlete I feel like to come out of the state of Indiana, David Bell. And that's a lot. That's hard to say, man. I mean, and I say athlete. I don't say best football player. I don't say best basketball player. I say best athlete, man, because Indiana has some greats, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And this is me. I might offend some 70s, 80s, 60s, 50s babies by saying that. But as a 90s baby, David Bell is the nastiest player to ever come out of Indianapolis, Indiana.
He was, my God, his story is legendary.
I wish we could find the film under. With my two eyes, I've seen this man lock up Kyle Guy as a sophomore. David was a sophomore. Kyle was a senior. Kyle was on his way to Virginia. I seen David lock up Kyle Guy. And I ain't gonna say he locked up Romeo Langford, but there's a viral clip on YouTube right now that you can see of David game time and Romeo Langford, you know what I'm saying, as a junior. And this is what people don't understand. Not only did he win a football state championship and a basketball state championship, he won an undefeated basketball state championship and an undefeated football state championship in the same calendar year. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's, come on, man.
Has that ever been done before? Has that ever been done before? In the state of Indiana.
I want to see it in the same calendar year. So his junior year, you know what I'm saying, that February, March, that playoff season, he won an undefeated state championship, 32-0. Then turned around his senior year coming into football season, won a football state championship, 16-0. I'm talking about in the same calendar year. You know what I'm saying? That's unheard of. That's
definitely crazy. That's definitely crazy. So you definitely coached some high-end, top talent. I mean, that was an experience. So you had an animal on the D line. Is that kind of with Sheldon Day? Is that kind of what led you to having the inspiration to create Dog School? Tell me about that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Sheldon, man, he's a real pillar out here, man. If you ever on the east side of Indianapolis, he's a pillar, man. He does a free football camp every year, man, and he's taking, kids who's never gotten off of their street, let alone went to another city or state. They never left their street. He's taking kids to Notre Dame every year. Like, hey, let me show y'all, what Notre Dame's about. Let me just put that in there. And that's big, man, just because, man, if you ain't never seen nothing, you can't fathom that. How little dude you gonna say, he want to go to college? You don't know what college is. He ain't never seen college. But you take him down there and see that football Jesus, and he go, whoo, that's different. So shout out to Sheldon, and he's definitely one of my inspirations behind Dog School, man. And my inspiration with Dog School was just it was something that I didn't see too many people doing. I wanted to train. I played offense and defensive line my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to train offense, defensive linemen. So, and I always realized, man, with me coaching for years, I didn't have the prototypical guy out there on the D-line or the O-line. I didn't have the prototype, you know what I'm saying? But I had a bunch of dudes who was willing to, they would listen to everything I said, every word I said, and, they was willing to do anything they had to do to get a win, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's how in 2018 we pulled that championship off, just with, some D-line play, and we could talk about that too,
Well, I wanted to jump into some city stuff. I want to know when you became a Colts fan, when you became a Pacers fan. As a diehard, I know We talk to each other every Sunday, all throughout the week about them Colts. What's your early memories of the Colts? And when you know you was a diehard from the jump?
Oh man, that's easy. I mean, shoot, I can't. I mean, that's the only team I've ever, attached myself to. So since birth, since I could, I was born into it. Everybody around me was Colts fans when I got here, so it was only inevitable. Yeah, I mean, but it was easy for me, man. I came up in the Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Dwight Freeney. I came up in that era, so it was easy for me to be a Colts fan, and I lived here, so I could go to the games. It was easy.
Cause we went to a camp, Colts camp, and during that Colts camp, it was a strength and conditioning coach. We was all sitting there. He looked out to the crowd. He said, "I need somebody to come out here. I want to show you how strong I am." He said, "If anybody think they can withstand me squeezing on their neck, come up here right now. I'm looking for y'all." Unc said, "Me?"
Yeah.
Nah. He thought he had the strongest neck. He wanted somebody to squeeze his neck.
He wanted somebody to choke him. He wanted somebody to choke him. And he picked the wrong guy. He picked the absolute wrong guy. He picked the wrong guy.
Hey, yo, Unc came up there. He got him from the front. He said, "Nah, from the back."
Hey,
Unc choking him from the back. His whole face getting red.
He said, "He's up, stop. He's up."
He wasn't ready. Hey,
I don't know what point he was trying to prove that day, but he picked the wrong guy out the crowd.
That's how I knew I was a Colts fan. We coming through choking him out.
That's right. Hey, you gotta understand, man. My pops, man, I witnessed him bench 575. You know what I'm saying? 575 pounds. So you asking him to choke you? I was like, man, what is he asking him? Like, you really want him to do that to you?
Oh my God. That's crazy. So let me ask you this too, while we at it. Who's your all-time favorite Colt?
Peyton Manning. Easy. I ain't even know. Peyton Manning.
Who's your all-time favorite pacer?
That's a tough one. All-time favorite pacer, man. I think the easy what everybody want to hear is Reggie, man. But I can't honestly say Reggie, man. I got a lot of them, man. We was talking about him the other night, man. I love Jermaine O'Neal. He was one of my all-time favorites, Jermaine O'Neal, man. But it's a tough one, man. That's a tough one.
It's crazy because when you see so many guys come through the city, and I remember, I don't know what year it was, but we went to a Christmas Day game against Orlando Magic. And after the game, we ended up going to the back to the practice facility. And we ended up meeting some of the players, and even a player like Jeff Foster, he was back there. And he was, Austin Crozier. Them became some of my guys just because we was, we was young and meeting them face to face. So that was a dope experience.
Yeah, for sure. One thing about us, man, as kids, man, they kept us at a sporting event, coach game, pacer game. We stayed at those things.
Some camps. We was
everywhere.
So, cuz, outside of sports, what's some of your interests?
And I'm chill, man. Right now, man. Nowadays, I'm back in that weight room, man. So, that's my mind focus, getting my body right, my health right. I got a baby now, so I'm living for somebody other than myself. It's a gym. I be on that game, man. I play 2K. I play a little 2K, and now podcasting. That's gonna be my newfound love, and
we're gonna put your gamer tag up here. So if anybody think they can get with Cuz, I personally know he wanted the coldest on the sticks. So, and I ain't been on 2K this year, but I know we run with the coldest squad. So if anybody got their squad, they ready to get active, we going to drop the gamer tag on here, man. Just hit us up, man. Just hit Cuz
drop that
up,
gamer
man.
tag. Got that gamer tag. I don't want to hear no excuses. It's cross-play, Xbox, PlayStation. I'm playing 2K. I'm in the rec. I'm in the Pro-Am. Bring your 5, and I got my 5, and we'll stream it, man.
Shout out IQ, shout out Guru, shout out Jack.
Shout out Jack. Yes,
shout out them guys, man.
Shout out to them guys, man. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
For sure. All right, Cuz. So now we're going to switch it to a segment. We're going to get into a rapid fire of the coldest. All right. So I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to tell you, give me your top 5. And you got 30 seconds to give me your top 5.
30 seconds. Okay.
30 seconds. I got 4 of them. I got 4 categories.
Okay.
All right. Give me your top 5 coldest artists on your playlist right now.
Yeah. I make a new playlist every year. Give me ESTG. Give me Drake. Give me Kendrick. How many seconds I got left? Give me
15.
15 seconds. CG, Drake, Kendrick, G
5.
Cheese.
One
And
more.
give me somebody above me. Give me about D-Lo. Come on, Boss Man.
Oh, there you go. There you
Give me
go. There you
D-Lo.
go. All right. Next one. Give me your top 5 comedians of all time.
Bernie Mac tops the list. Bernie Mac, close second, Dave Chappelle. Man, Mike Epps. Come on, man. He's a legend in the city. Give me Mike Epps. 2 more. Give me. You guys, a good question. Give me. Let me throw Kevin Hart in there, and then let me throw. Who am I missing, man? Who am I missing?
Eddie? Mark?
Oh my
Jamie?
goodness! Please! Oh my goodness! I am so sorry. Can we start all over?
Go ahead,
Can I go, Brent?
Rewind
Let
to
me go.
30.
Let me
Rewind to
rewind
30.
to 30. Rewind to 30. Give me Bernie Mac, number 1. Eddie Murphy, number 2. Dave Chappelle, number 3. Mike Epps, number 4. Give me
That's a solid list.
a solid list.
All right. Next one. Give me your top 5 coldest movies of all time.
This movie's about time. That's a tough one. That's what you gotta think about. I know in no certain order. I ain't gonna put these in order. Give me I like the movie Life, just thinking about Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy. Life, Wolf of Wall Street. I should shout out to who's that? Leonardo DiCaprio. Wolf of Wall Street. That's a good one. Number 3, not number 3 in any certain order. A favorite childhood movie. I always loved The Lion King. That was always let me put The Lion King in there, and then
You used to have that game on Sega Genesis.
Just have it on Sega. I used to love that game. Favorite movie? Think about something I seen here recently. Man, I can't even remember my favorite movie. I just give you them 4. That's the only ones I can think of right
solid
now.
4. That's a solid 4.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. Last one. Give me your top 5 coldest athletes of all time.
Top 5 coldest athletes of all time. First, LeBron James, Peyton Manning. LeBron James, Peyton Manning. That's a tough one. LeBron James, Peyton Manning. All time. How much time I got left?
That's your 2 favorite. That's your 2 favorite.
That's my 2
athletes.
favorite. That's my 2 favorite athletes. Broad and
That's all it needs to be said.
That's all it needs to be said, man. Yeah. Anybody else? I got who I think is the best. I got who I think is the best now, but of all time, man, that's so many, man. That's so many. That's a hard list. I give you the 2 best of all time.
All right. So, cuz, this is how we gonna wrap this up. If you can give advice or some words of inspiration to anybody aspiring to achieve their goals, what would it be? What would you say?
And coming from somebody who's still trying to achieve their goals, it's man, ain't no substitute for work, man. That's it. Ain't no substitute for work. Ain't no such thing as a get rich quick scheme. If you get rich quick, you're probably gonna go to jail behind it. You know what I'm saying? So, hard work, man. Whatever you want to do, you can be anything you want to be if you want to be it. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be it hard enough, you gotta, if you want to be an athlete, you gotta want to train more than you want to, drink, hang out, smoke weed. If you want to be a doctor, you got to be able to want to study more than you want to party. So hard ain't no substitute for hard work. Put that work in, and you're gonna see some results for sure.
If you like this type of content, just like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. Tap in with us on social media. On Instagram, ColdGame_official. On TikTok, Cold Game Podcast. Tapping with Malc on social media. Tell me your social media, cuz.
Bigg Malc, everywhere you want to find me, bigg.malc, or just Bigg Malc, big.
We be back on here tomorrow night, man. So y'all stay tuned for the next episode. We appreciate y'all, cuz I appreciate you. I look forward to building this platform with you and seeing how far we can take this thing.
Cold game.
Cold game.
Cold game. First round draft pick.